right, today we are going to learn, one second. Today we're going to learn how to solve for percent of a number. So what happens when we're given a number and we need to find what percent of another number that is, or like what's 12% of 10, things like that. So there's a couple rules here. First, we're going to solve for percents using proportions, and we're going to set up the proportions all in a similar way. You'll hear us say this quite a bit: line, line, equal sign, line. And each one of these has their own purpose. The first line is just for organizational purposes. It's where we're going to put our description words. Now, sometimes there's not a description word, but most of the time there is, and we'll get into that in our next problem. The next line is where we're going to put is over of or part over a whole. And this will make more sense once we get some examples. And the last one is what we're always going to put percent of over 100. So no matter what, this last line on the right, always put the same thing. A percent with whatever number that is over 100%. 100% will always go in the bottom right-hand corner if it is a percent problem. No other number but 100%. There's two ways to solve these proportions. We can use cross products, and I'll show you that in a second, or we can use factors of change. Sometimes factor of change is easier than using cross products, but it's all a personal preference. So let's go ahead and get started. This says, what is 15% of 50? So there's a couple things I'm looking for. First thing I notice is this percent sign. Because there's a percent sign, I know this is a percent problem. And because it's a percent problem, I know for a fact that in my bottom right-hand corner, I'm putting 100%, always. If there's another percent, and there's another number tied with a percent, it's always going to go above 100%. So for instance, 15%. 15 is also a percent, so it's going to go above the 100%. And over here on our far left, I see these were description words. So for now, since there's not really a whole lot of description going on, I'm going to put is over of. Is over of. And if you see a number tied to any one of these words, then that is the number where it goes. It could also be known as part over a whole. So the question says, what is 15% of 50? Well, it says, what is? What? I don't know what. So guess what's going to go on this top line? A number that I need to find. So I'm going to put an X right on top. And what is 15% of 50? Of is tied to this number 50. So of goes on the bottom. 50 is also my whole. It's equal to 100%. So I'm not getting any number that's bigger than 50. Now I set my proportion up, and I've got some options here. I can either use cross products or factor of change. I'm going to go ahead and do cross products first, and then I'll show you what factor of change looks like. So cross products is exactly what it sounds like. We are going to go across, and we're going to find the product. Product means multiplication. So 50 times 15 and then 100 times X. And I'm going to solve what I can solve. So I can't do anything with 100 times X, but I can do 50 times 15, and that's going to give me 750. And now I've got a simple algebraic equation. Many of you should be used to doing this in 6th grade. 100 times X, in order to solve for X, I have to do the opposite here, which is divide. Divide by 100. And I'm left with X equals 7.5. So what is 15% of 50? 7.5 is. So before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what factor of change looks like. I'm going to set up the exact same proportion. So here we're going to look at relationships. They can be up and down, side to side, left and right. Here, I notice a big relationship is 50 to 100. So you need to find this value right here. Oh, I noticed that from 100 all the way to 50, it's cut in half. It's divided by 2. So I can do the same thing on top. What is 15, or what's this x? Well, it should be half of 15. So 15 divided by 2 gives me, once again, 7.5. So it's all kind of, if you can see the relationship, great. If you cannot see any sort of relationship, using cross products is a surefire way to make sure you get the right answer. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Number 2 is going to look a little bit different. 45 is what percent of 50? So we still have is over of with percents, or part over a whole. And we are going to try and fill this proportion in with all the numbers that we can. Now, once again, I said, if you see the word percent or a percent sign, you know for a fact it's a percent problem. So in my bottom right-hand corner, I will always put 100%. I need to have another percent above it. Now, if we read this problem, 45 is what percent of 50? I don't see any other percents. There's no other number with a percent sign. So I know in this problem, I'm going to be working to find my percent. And I should be able to fill in the other 2 numbers on the left over here. 45 is right next to 45. So 45 goes on top. Is what percent of 50? 50 is on the bottom. 45 is my part. 50 is my whole. Now, if you notice, my x, my unknown value, is in a different spot, but that doesn't change anything. We're going to solve it the exact same way, but now my answer is going to be represented by a different area. So cross products will always get us the right answer. 145. So 100 times 45 equals 50 and x. 50 times x. I'm going to solve what I can solve. 100 times 45 is 4,500. And 50 and x over here. And I'm solving, once again, it's a simple algebraic equation. We're going to divide by 50. And I get x equals 90. X equals 90. 90 what? Well, remember, my x was above 100%, so this number needs to represent a percent. So x is 90%. Another way we can look at this is we can look at this using factor of change. So I'm going to rewrite my my proportion and see if I can figure out what the factor is. I have 45 over 50 equals x percent over 100%. Now, if we look, I could use cross products from 45 to 50 or 50 to 100. One of those is going to be much easier. 50 to 100. Well, what happens from 50 to 100? What's my multiple here? Well, I notice that I've multiplied by 2. So I should be able to do the same thing on the top. 45 times 2. Well, 45 times 2 gives me 90. X equals 90%. So once again, 2 different ways to find the same answer. Number 3, if you want to give number 3 a shot on your own, you can pause it, or you can continue to work with me. And remember, you should be writing all this down in your notes. So here we have our description words. Is over of, or part over whole. First thing I notice is this percent symbol. Because I see the percent symbol, I should understand that in the bottom right-hand corner, I will always put 100%. And any other numbers that are percent go right above it. So this 20% goes right above it. Okay, 20% of what number is 62? Is, well, I see this word is right next to 62. So 62 will be going on top. 20% of what number? Of what number? Of, I don't see any other numbers, so that must be my unknown, or my x. And I will cross multiply, use my cross products to figure out what the value of x is. If you've noticed, x has been in a different spot every single question. X moves. It's our job to find out what the value of x is. So we have 100 times 62. And we have 20 times x. I'm going to solve what we can. 6,200 and 20x. By now, we should be getting used to dividing here. Divide by 20. Let's see. And 6,200 divided by 20 gives me 310. So x is equal to 310. This means that 62 is 20% of 310. Let's check it out. If I were to set it up and try and find my factors of change, it's a little bit more difficult in this one. I don't expect most of you to be able to do this in your head. But what kind of relationship between any of these numbers can we see? 62 and 20 might be a little difficult, but I can see a relationship from 20 to 100. What do we multiply 20 with to get 100? Well, 20 times 5. So it should be the same with 62 and this unknown number. If we took 62 and multiplied it by 5, it should also give us 310. So 62 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. It does. X equals 310. So once again, two different ways, cross products and factor of change. Now, one thing I do want to make sure is that the x is not with the other percents, so therefore you know that x is not a percent. All right, we're going to do 3 more problems. They are word problems. Essentially, it's the same work, and now it's just kind of given to you or presented to you in a different way. So word problems. This one says, Dale made 25 cookies. He ate 15 of them. What percent of the cookies did Dale eat? First thing I'm going to notice is this word percent. Because I see it, I know in the bottom right-hand corner, I need to have 100%. Now, I'm going to look and see, do I have any other numbers that are percents? Well, I do not. So in this problem, I must be trying to find the percent. So Dale made 25 cookies. He ate 15 of them. What percent of the cookies did Dale eat? We've got is over of or part over a whole. 15, I see the word of, whole. This one's going to look better if it is a part over a whole. Because Dale made 25 cookies. If you make 25 cookies, that is the total, that is the whole. So 15 must be a part of the 25. He ate a part of the cookies. And we're going to do cross products. 100 times 15. And 25 times an unknown percent. 100 times 15 is 1,500. And when we divide 1,500 by 25, we're going to get 60. 60 what? It's above, the x is above the 100%, so 60%. Dale ate 60% of his cookies. If I wanted to set this up as cross products, or I'm sorry, not cross products, but factor of change, I'm looking for a relationship between some of my numbers. The relationship from 15 to 25, trying to find multiples may be a little hard, but one that should stick out is 25 to 100 quarters. How many quarters are in $1? Well, 25 times 4 gives me 100. So 15 times 4 will give me 60. Once again, x is going to be 60%. Should get the same answer both ways. Okay. Number 2, if you want to go ahead and solve this one on your own, you can pause the video, see what you get. If not, continue to work with me. Hank had 300 pounds of gold. It's a lot of gold. He sold 35% of it. How many pounds of gold did Hank sell? All right, I see this percent. So because I see that percent sign, I know 100% goes in the bottom right-hand corner, and this number 35% should go right above it. Percents with percents. Now I've got my words or my categories is over of or part over a whole. So Hank had 300 pounds of gold. He sold 35% of it. How many pounds of gold did Hank sell? All right, so he had 300. That's the total. That's what he had. That's our whole. So 300 is going on the bottom. How many pounds did he sell? We're trying to find that out. We know he sold 35% of it, but how many pounds of that is it exactly? So we do not know. That's our part. We don't know the part, but we know the whole. So we'll go ahead and do cross products first. This will always give us the right answer. 300 times 35 and 100 times x. Can't do anything with 100 times x. And 300 times 35 gives us 10,500. From here, we'll divide by 100. And we end up with x equals 105. So how many pounds of gold did he sell? He sold 105 pounds. Show you using factors of change, x over 300, 35% over 100. All right. So here, the relationship you should see should be between the 300 and the 100. Okay. So what happens? Well, if we were going right to or left to right, we see that from 300 to 100, we must divide by 3. Or if we go from 100 to 300, we're multiplying by 3. We always want to try and use the multiple whenever possible. So 35 times 3 is going to give us, well, what do you know? It's going to give us 105 pounds. 35 times 3 is 105 pounds. Last one coming up. Pause it if you want to try this one on your own, or do it together. Boomhauer has run 12 miles. This is 60% of his weekly goal. How many more miles must Boomhauer run to meet his goal? If you haven't noticed, all the names in these questions have been from King of the Hill. It's a great show. All right. I see the percent. Percent gives it away. I need to put 100% in the bottom right-hand corner, and any other number that is tied to a percent, put above it. In this case, it is 60, so 60% above my 100%. As always, I have is over of or part over whole for my description. Now I'm trying to put my other numbers in here. Boomhauer has run 12 miles. Okay, that's how much he's run. This is 60% of his weekly goal. How many more miles must Boomhauer run to meet his goal? Okay, so we are trying to find how many more miles. If we know he's run 12 miles, but 12 miles is only 60% of his goal. So 12 should go next to 60. And we're going to try and find out what the whole, how many miles is his weekly goal? And from there, this is actually a two-part question. It's asking how many more miles must he run? Before we can figure out how many more miles, we have to figure out how many miles is his weekly goal to begin with. So here we have 100 times 12 equals 60 times x. I get 1,200 equals 60 times x. I'm sorry for my handwriting getting smaller. I'm trying to fit it in. From here, we will divide by 60. And 1200 divided by 60 gives us 20. So x equals 20. I'll go ahead and set it up for you with cross products. Now keep in mind, 20 is not our answer, but it will help us get there. If I wanted to get it with cross products, 12 over x, I'm sorry, not cross products, but factor of change, 60% over 100%. We're looking for that relationship, and one that I see is from 12 to 60. Hopefully, most of us know that 12 goes into 60 5 times. So 12 times 5 is 60. So x times 5 needs to be 100. So what times 5 equals 100? If you don't know off the top of your head, you could always go the other way and divide by 5. So 100 divided by 5 also gives me 20. Now 20 is his weekly goal. It's not asking for the weekly goal. It's just how many more miles must he run to meet his goal. So we know that 20 is his weekly goal and that he's already run 12. So how many more miles must he run? 20 minus 12 is 8 miles. This was a two-part question. It's kind of a step up from the other ones. So this is percent of a number, solving using proportions. Remember, if you have any questions, please attend tutorials. They should be on the website in your calendar, or if you want to schedule tutorials, that's going to be by appointment only if you are in person. I hope you guys have a good day. If you have any questions, let us know. Bye-bye.